Hey, I'm Randy, and you're watching The Cheap Audio Man. Here at The Cheap Audio Man, when I say we, I really mean me, help other folks find high-value home theater, hi-fi, and headphone stuff. So today we're talking about Apos Audio's first headphone, the Caspian. So sit down, grab a cup of coffee, and let's talk about the Apos Audio Caspian headphones. Today's sponsor is Sith Audio audiophile crowns. That's right, you can get your own crown, bejeweled crown, so that you can rule over your audiophile kingdom and deem what is worthy and what is not worthy. Audiophile crowns. Sounds like I'm saying crayons. It's crowns. Audiophile crowns, heavy as the head that wears the audiophile crown. Lots of responsibility. The Caspian from Apos Audio. Open back, $500, 32 ohm, 115 dB sensitive, I think. What does that all mean? It means they're easy to drive. Very easy to drive, in fact. They come with, not these pads, they actually come with a very nice travel case. They come with these pads. Why aren't they on there? I'll get to that later. And they come with a very nice cable, which has these mini XLR connectors to the ear cups, and it terminates into a 6.35 big headphone connector, which again, I'm using something else. We'll get to that later as well. Overall build quality is quite good and very heavy. They have somewhat of a rubberized plastic connector right here from the band into, I don't know what you call this, yoke, whatever it is. Metal here, very nice wood, nicely padded headband, feel very solid. They're a little bit heavier, which I like. I like a heavy headphone. I know some people don't. The wood on here, very glossy. Some people probably aren't gonna like it. I, however, do like it. It kind of reminds me if I was doing like a DIY. So this is what I would end up with if I really, really worked on something really, really hard. Some people aren't going to like the glossy, but I don't mind it. The XLR connectors, cool. They're cool, but it makes things a bit more challenging when one wants to switch out cables. This connector type is similar to the Dan Clark Aeon, all of them, Aeons, all of them. Also the Meze Empyrean Elite, very similar. So I'm not going to complain about this, but I am going to ask the question, why? Why was it important to go with this kind of connector? Is it because it's functionally important, or is it because it's just cool? Because it is pretty cool the way that it clicks in and things. But at this price level, if one wants to switch out their cord or the cable, you're going to have to go back to Apos. They have their own cords. It's called Flow, or go to some place like Heart Cable or something like that. I wish maybe they were just simply a 3.5 millimeter. And I'm going to get to this, but overall, I wish there were some things that would have been done differently to maybe bring the price down a little bit, because the bag and the headphones and everything, they look really nice, but they also look like they're made, I don't know, if someone was designing a headphone for Ernest Hemingway. So there is a very good sense of quality when one looks at this. Warm, rugged. I have no problem with the way this looks or the way it was built. I think it's pretty nice. But again, sometimes I'd rather have function over form. Cable question. When you have a headphone that's 32 ohm, 115 dB sensitive, that comes with a very nice carrying case, that would infer, or I'm inferring, maybe imply, I'm inferring that this headphone is maybe meant to go with you places. All right? So if it's meant to go with you places, it's easy to drive, can be driven off of a dongle DAC. Why wasn't something like this included? So one could drive them off of a dongle DAC. Now, I did have one of these laying around, so I didn't have a problem with it, but that's how I listened to this most of the time, was off of a dongle DAC, because, again, plenty of power for these headphones because they're easy to drive. If one is going to take these on a business trip or something like that, chances are you're not packing a headphone amp. I'm just saying, I wish this was a 3.5 millimeter and then has that fancy. The cord's fancy, okay? It's great. Maybe just include a 3.5 millimeter cable as well that's not as long. The cable's great. I've got, again, zero complaints about the build quality on this headphone, on the cable, really even on the case as well. Even has a really nice leather strappy strap right here. Attention to detail. There is a lot of thought put into how these look and how they're built. Let's talk about the sound though. From a bass perspective, I think these headphones in this price category, compared to all the other headphones that I have, does better. It is the best quality of the headphone from a sound perspective. The bass is impactful and it is extended. So much so that this is the best headphone I've ever heard that handled Narcissistic Cannibal the way I believe that song should be handled. At the 1 minute mark, it goes doo doo, and I could not only hear it, and usually on headphones, even if they're extended really well, I'll kind of hear it. This, I heard it, and I even felt a little bit of impact from it. Evolution by Korn, very strong, very punchy, rattled me. Killing Strangers by Marilyn Manson, also at the beginning of that song, nearly jolted me. It was fantastic. Intergalactic by the Beastie Boys, again, crazy extended. The bass on these headphones is probably the best that I've heard. It is boosted a bit. It's not completely neutral, but it's impactful. It's well extended, and to my ear doesn't really bleed into the mid-range all that much. Unfortunately, the mid-range is veiled. Hello by Adele was fantastic. A little bit warm, a little bit haunting, but again, the details weren't there with her voice. That's why I switched the pads, because with the leather pads, it was even more bass and even less detail in the mid-range and the treble. When I switched the pads out, it did get better. And these I just had laying around. I don't even know where I got these from. I think like Brainwaves or something like that. This is more of a cloth, kind of almost a fake suede. I don't know. Microfiber. That's what it is. Microfiber. Anyway, these did bring up the detail a bit. But Hello by Adele, while it was enjoyable to listen to, when she would go up in that song, at the end of time, the really high point, I'm assuming that's around 2K, because if I look at the posted measurements on this headphone, there's a bump in the 2K region. When she hit that note, it came forward, kind of breaking down the soundstage to where it just popped forward and then it would pop back when she went lower. Redemption Song by Bob Marley didn't sound bad at all, but through the entirety of that song, his voice, the acoustic guitars, again, just lacked detail and felt slightly veiled. When I'm saying it sounds slightly veiled, I'm comparing this to the Monolith M570s, the Dan Clark Aeon Closed RT, the Sennheiser HD 560S, the Sundaras, the Virum 1s. It's not like I'm listening to this in a vacuum. I am comparing it directly to other products at or below the asking price of the Caspians. As far as treble, the overall veiled lack of detail kind of carries over. It is not horrible by any means. Sinnerman by Nina Simone, the 16th notes, again, there just wasn't, the treble didn't hang out very long. So it was, and even the briefness of the treble, again, wasn't as clear as I would like it to be. Africa by Weezer, the reboot of the Toto version, is a song I use for cymbal decay because that song does a good job of just hanging out. Again, I got an idea of it, but overall, the clarity, the decay just wasn't there, even with a pad swap. Steve Winwood, Higher Love, at the beginning of the song, there's a whole bunch of percussion going around. You can really hear the snap, the thwack, the rim shots, the reverberation of the snare drum. Not as much on these. Again, I'm not saying it sounds horrible. I'm just saying there's not a lot of detail, or the detail that is there is just covered up a bit. My final thoughts on this headphone is the build quality is exceptional. The bass on this headphone beats all the ones I listed, the Virums, the Sundaras, the HD 560S, the Monolith M570, the Dan Clark Aeon Closed. This is better bass. I like this bass. I wish I could take this bass and put it into those headphones. But after the bass, the mid-range and the treble just lack detail. It seems veiled. With a pad swap, I did get some of that detail back. And if one is so inclined, they could continue to go down the pad swapping rabbit hole and see if one could get these up to what they like. And if your style of music isn't like mine, I like metal, I like grunge, I like rock, I like detail, I like bass, I like detail, I like it all. But if you want a more laid back presentation that leans quite a bit warm and has great bass, these could be for you. There's also some stuff going on in the upper mid-range in that 2K region that some folks might like. It's not that I didn't like these. It's just that all of those other headphones are out there. The competition in this price range is fierce. I think if these were maybe $300 and came with some other pads that maybe worked with the sound signature to bring some of that detail back, could be better. And there is a felt covering or some type of cloth covering that is over the driver. I don't know if that is affecting the clarity. I don't know if one would pull that off, if that would increase things a bit. Overall, I think this has the DNA, the foundation, to be quite a good headphone. For whatever reason, the way it's tuned, I feel like it lacks detail. I think it could be much, much, much better. We live in a time where I think just about anybody, if they had about 10 to 20 grand, could commission a headphone. And that's pretty cool. That gives us, the consumers, a lot of choices. I think Apis is doing a great thing by bringing out headphones. I think with hard work and really digging through all the parts and pieces that are available to someone that wants to commission a headphone, I think there's a lot of opportunity there. Because anybody can start a headphone company now. It's not just Sennheiser or Sony or Hi-Fi-Man anymore. Anybody can make a headphone. But it's going to take some time. It's going to take some work. And one is going to really have to dig through all those parts to get the right combination to really come and be able to compete at this price level. I like the headphone. I like the effort that was put into this headphone. I wish maybe instead of some of the styling cues, they would forego that for a little bit more sound quality. I think with some tweaking, this could be there. And if they leave these with me, I'm going to do that. I'm going to tweak and try to modify these and try to get that clarity back. And I'll post another video if I can do it. People love to modify headphones. I think there's enough DNA here that it could get to the next level. But overall, at this price range, there's other headphones that do things better. This does bass better. The other ones do just about everything else better. So, if you want to support the channel, you can sign up for Patreon, patreon.com/cheapaudioman. Every Sunday night we have Patreon-only Zooms. The links in the description will be affiliate links for the most part, which means if you click on it, buy something through those links, I will get a commission. You can also sign up for Amazon Music. Right now they're running a deal. You can get 3 months for free or you can get Disney Plus for free. Click on the link, sign up. You can cancel. I do get a few dollars if you sign up through my link. So, don't binge watch anything on Netflix or Hulu. Binge listen. Maybe through your new Apos Audio Caspian headphones, and fill your soul with happiness. And with that, I'm Randy. I'm the Cheap Audio Man.